Guys, what's up? It's Sebastian Castillo here. It's Monday afternoon, and I purposely decided to take fewer sales calls today because I needed a day to kind of relax, let my thoughts simmer, and listen to some new sales teachings I've been getting from my coach. And I was just walking around, and I had this thought pop into my head that I just had to share. If you remember, I posted a video just a few weeks back about confidence and feeling like you deserve to feel confident, feeling like you can go out in a public place, and if people stare at you or people even say things to you like your family, or you just feel like people are scrutinizing and judging you, you still have the right to feel secure in who you are and how you present yourself, not just physically, but just walking with your back straight, right? Feeling proud of the person you've become and the hard times that you've endured, the accolades you may have accumulated, the achievements that you've racked up, especially if you're a little bit older too. If you're younger, then it's understandable if you haven't, done much in your life in terms of making a whole lot of money or contributing to other people's lives or traveling, whatever it is, right? Whatever you also consider a personal achievement too. Like, no matter what, it's funny because if you think back to high school, for example, it's not the best example, but there were plenty of guys there who on paper were just dumbass losers, right? They didn't have anything going for them. They may not have even been particularly good looking or athletic, really nothing. And yet they were, some would, in fact, a lot of people probably would have called them arrogant, but they just still had this swagger about them and this unshakable confidence. So while they may have had a lot of obvious character defects or attributes that made them seem like fucking douchebags or fucking dumbasses or just people that you wouldn't like or that you personally didn't like, they still had this unshakable belief in who they are. So, as they say, you take the good and you discard the bad. Now, how does that relate to today's video? So, maybe you've seen a clip of the show The Boondocks before, and it's on a city street. There's an older white man walking down the sidewalk and a black guy who looks like a thug walking his way. And from what's shown in the clip, the black guy intentionally rams his shoulder into the white guy as he's walking, and he spills his coffee on himself as well. And it seems like the black guy does it intentionally to get a rise out of the white guy and start an altercation. And that's what everyone would expect, seeing a scene like that. But what's funny, and what makes the scene stand out so much, and what I want to touch on in this quick video too, is the white guy is just about to erupt in anger and start a fight. But then he catches himself, pauses, and he actually starts laughing. And so the black guy is thinking, okay, what's going on here? And the white guy says, oh wait, I almost forgot. I'm white. And he turns around and just walks away. And it takes the guy a moment, but then the black guy puts two and two together, and he realizes that what the white guy is communicating by doing that, and this has nothing to do with race, for all of you fuckers out there who might get this totally twisted, although it does have validity. What he's communicating here is that there's literally nothing you as a, fill in the blank, in this case as a black thug in walking down the street, there's nothing you can do to cause me to fall below you at all. And this little incident of him bumping into the guy, causing him to spill his coffee and trying to provoke an altercation, is something that it's not that he was just bigger than it and he was the bigger person, he walked away. He also managed to insult the other guy on such a deep level to where like it's shown in the clip, it takes him a moment to realize just how deep that insult goes. He thinks to himself, oh shit, this guy, like I'm this big muscular dude. I've got whatever going for me. I'm a drug dealer, right? Speaking on his behalf. I have this, I have that, I have all these girls. But wait a minute, this older white man who I was trying to provoke, who I was trying to put beneath me, basically just told me that nothing I do to him, nothing that I am will ever be more than what he is. There's other ways to explain it too, but that's the premise of it. Now, the entire point of this video is to take that concept and take it further. It's not just, oh, I almost forgot, I'm white. It's, oh, I almost forgot, I'm me. I'm me. I'm unique. I'm irreplaceable. Not just me, myself, Sebastian Castillo, talking to you right now, but you watching this video. Think about the last time that you were hurt. For example, maybe you recently started talking to a chick and she ghosted you out of nowhere. Or you had made plans and then she canceled, and low-key, it was because she wasn't into you. Or you feel maybe like you did something wrong. In any case, you felt hurt and you felt personally attacked in a way because that happened to you. Your ego was hurt because you felt like you were worth that and it was not given to you like you were expecting. So if you run into a situation like that, and by the way, I'm not saying that you should be Andrew Tate level egotistical or delusional or anything, but related to the previous video, you should have some degree of healthy confidence in who you are, what your value is as a man, what you should expect people to, the way that you should expect people to treat you just on average, right? So next time something like that is just about to rattle you or to cause you a bit of distress or pain, stop and think to yourself, wait a minute, I almost forgot I'm me. Nothing that this person does, especially if it's intentionally hurtful, is going to cause me to feel like I am less and that person is more than me. I'm me, right? You as who you are the top of the food chain. You are unique. You are so much. You have so much. Think about this from a man's perspective as well. Like, not a male, but a man who has gone through hard shit. A man who's had his heart broken. A man who has faced truly difficult times that would have broken lesser men, and certainly would have broken another woman if she had to spend a day in your shoes and go through that same situation. She wouldn't be able to. Think about that. Think about that. If there's anything that you should take away from this video, consider that. And you may not think that whatever happened to you was really that bad. But again, imagine if a woman had to go through that shit. I'll tell you a little story right now. When I first came to Mexico in October of 2020, I had some savings from what I had earned in Canada. And then that money slowly dwindled to the point where I was struggling to pay my rent, which is already extremely cheap here in Mexico, at least by like American or Canadian Western standards. So that is a distressing period. That's a shitty situation that lots of men and women would never be able to handle, especially if they had intentionally placed themselves there like I did, right? You can argue, and you would be right to say that it was my fault because I chose to leave the comfort of 9 to 5 and life in Canada where things are fairly easy, even if you're a midwit, and come out to Mexico where it's arguably more difficult, and generally most jobs pay much less than what you would be earning in a Western country. So going out and getting a job and doing things the normal way simply wasn't an option for me that I would even bother considering. So that would be the fallback. That would have been what a lot of other people would have done. I often thought about this one particular guy who used to be my friend, but we stopped talking, and I had asked for his help a few times, and he didn't want to come through for me. So I often thought to myself, yeah, if this guy were living my life at that point, he would not have been able to make it through. He would have begged his parents to fucking buy him a plane ticket and come back to Canada and hide out in their fucking basement or some shit like this. That's what most people would have done. Most women cannot handle any real stress when the rubber meets the road, right? Think of a physical altercation. You know, lots of women, fucking even lesbians, are real tough. They can talk a lot of shit, like lots of ghetto chicks. They talk a lot of shit. They think they're real tough until they get slapped in the face. And then they're actually shown what real toughness actually is, right? When they're actually faced with real threats, not just some make-believe tough guy stuff. And this is a whole nother topic in and of itself, in fact, that I could cover. It relates back to what I was saying earlier about these guys who had nothing going for them, but they were still kind of arrogant and overconfident. That has its benefits and it also has its drawbacks. Wrapping it up, the main message here that I want to get across to you is going back to the Boondocks clip. This idea that no matter what anyone else does, whether it's as subtle as a dirty look in public or as overt as a physical assault or verbal assault, there's fucking nothing anyone out there can do to raise themselves above you and lower you beneath them. Don't ever give them that kind of satisfaction. Hold your head up high. Look at yourself in the mirror. Recognize, this is what I wanted to touch on earlier, recognize the qualities that you've cultivated by going through everything that you've gone through. Your wisdom, your intelligence, your physical strength, your general knowledge, your communication skills, your loyalty, just lots of things that tend to be very overlooked today in a superficial world that actually are really fucking valuable because so few people actually have them. You know what I mean? So many people think that their actual value is conveyed by buying a fucking sports car or buying fucking designer clothing or wearing jewelry or claiming that they're high status because they know someone else who has a blue check and 1 million followers on fucking Instagram or whatever, or they do live streams and they claim to be millionaires. Like, fuck all of that. Fuck all of that. Don't let this world twist your perception of how valuable you actually are when the rubber meets the road. Here's one last little analogy to give you an idea of what I'm talking about. Imagine, maybe if you've played the game Fallout 3, or you've watched that movie The Road, a post-apocalyptic scenario. No electricity, scarce resources, people are fighting over food, right? Who is actually going to come out on top in those kinds of do or die scenarios? Not a weak man, and most likely, in fact, guaranteed, not a woman. Only a strong man. Only a truly strong man with fucking skills, with value, with knowledge, and tenacity and work ethic and intelligence is going to make it through that kind of shit. So that's what you always have to keep in mind. That's your real value, and you carry that shit everywhere you go, and you project it with pride. Take care.